All right, guys, we have a bad Moen Posi-temp cartridge here. It's in the hot position and there's very little flow. You'll notice when you turn it to cold, it'll work okay and then shut off. Now, two of the main problems with this is there's a spool in here on some of the showers or tubs that aren't used much. That little piston will get stuck. And so because it slides over when you turn it to cold, it slides over. When you turn it to hot, if it sticks there, you'll have no hot flow. So we need to replace this cartridge. The other common problem is these cartridges get really stiff and then this skips or breaks the cartridge stem. And then you can't shut it off at all. So let's shut off the water and let's get this going. And let's get this valve apart. All right, this house was repiped and this is where his main valve is. One of them feeds the house and one comes back out and feeds irrigation or something. So anyway, it's off and we can verify that by turning this on, and there's no more pressure on that, so we're good. All right, we're gonna get a couple pair of gloves on. Once I lube this thing up with silicone grease, it's nice to just yank some gloves off and you don't spread silicone grease all over everything. And water's gonna be off, so you can't wash your hands. Okay, so we're gonna get our cartridge out and ready. We're gonna actually pop this apart and we're gonna lube this up more than actually comes from the factory. So, start out with, we are going to need a 7/64 Allen wrench for this particular one. Now some of these, there'll be a little cap on the end and you'll actually have a Phillips screw to hold the handle on. All right guys, so this is footage from one I did recently. Use a knife or something thin to pop the cap out and you'll see the Phillips screw. Then just take your Phillips screwdriver, obviously, and loosen that screw and you can pull the handle off. Now there'll be no handle adapter that is contained in the handle. This one has a little indent underneath, as you can see right here. There is a set screw in here, so that's where we're gonna take the handle off. All right, 7/64 Allen. And the other thing we are gonna need is a Phillips screwdriver. Okay, so let's make sure we have all our pressure off, just some residual water. That's okay. All right. Okay, I lied. This is an older style. So this is apparently an older style. It actually takes the smaller sized Allen wrench. The trim looks very similar, but the older style has a steel adapter in it, and it actually takes a smaller Allen wrench. And this is going to come out instead of they call it a hex cap screw. This is a true set screw in this one. But anyway. We're going to go ahead and back this set screw out quite a ways. Now, if this was a slightly newer one, this would actually be a bolt. It would look like a bolt. They call it a hex cap screw. But this one is going to be a set screw, and you just back it out quite a ways. And then, oh, that's enough. And there's our metal adapter for this one. So, obviously, off position, you'll notice that the limit stop is right here on the left side. So that's where we want to put it back on. Now this one will be the same, as in there's a Phillips screw in here that holds this handle adapter on here. So let's take it off and pull this out and set it aside. And then we can take our trim screws out. I usually use an electric screwdriver, but I forgot to bring it in, so we'll just do the good old finger trick to get these out quickly. All right, set this down. And there is our rough end valve and our cartridge. So now the little clip right here sticking up, we're gonna yank that out. I like to use my needle nose. Come straight up, don't drop it in the wool. Now, for some reason, when they did the tile, you don't have room. You might have to chip some of the tile away in order to get that out. Next, we're gonna grab our Moen cartridge tool. I wouldn't buy, if you're going out to get this stuff based on the instruction in this video, but you should get the Moen brand, because you'll need, most likely will need to try to rotate this cartridge to break it free. And the cheap ones have a very minimal metal strip here, and that's what grips it. So you'll want the good quality tool. So we're gonna back our screw up a little bit. This screw is gonna screw into the threads where that Phillips screw was. We're gonna get it on all the way up on the cartridge. Hold it up in there and then tighten the screw up. You'll feel it light. Just go in a few revolutions. No need to tighten that. And then what we're gonna do, rotate it and pull. This one actually come out pretty easy. Now, sometimes you'll run into these gaskets get stuck in there. All right, guys, so we're gonna continue working this cartridge out. At this point, the little tabs have cleared, so we're gonna try to rotate it all the way, and we're gonna have to cut and rip these stuck gaskets inside. What happens is this rubber part right here will get frozen, and it's trying to work this loose, and it'll end up breaking it and cutting it off. So obviously you don't want to rip the valve loose, but you got to kind of work it back and forth and try to get it to rip in there. We're going to pull a little bit, and we're going to rotate it, see if we can get this to rip off. Once we get it out enough, we might even be able to use channies. Oh, here we go, here we go. Oh my gosh, they get a little tough. Show you here. All right, so I'm going to show you here what we have. As you can see, this seal on this side for the cartridge has stuck and is just getting jerked out and ripped. This one side looks like it actually came loose. It's very common with some of these older ones. A little bit of scale buildup, and that rubber will just not want to let loose. Okay, so there it is. Now, the next thing we want to do is look inside here and make sure we don't have rubber, which we're definitely going to have some in here, I can promise you that. Let's see if I can get you in here, you can see. Yep, see it? So we're going to get our needle nose and we're going to fish that out right quick. Make sure you get all that out. And I'm going to inspect all the way in there. Catch our residual water. This valve actually has the integral stops on it, but a lot of times our water here, they'll actually leak if you turn them, so I don't mess with them. Looks like this water heater may want to siphon a little bit. That's okay. We'll do our little trick with our package and catch the water while we lube this up, and we'll get this dropped in here real quick. So we'll take our silicone grease and we're going to gently pop this apart like this, and we want to put more silicone grease on all these O-rings, because that's A big cause of failure on these cartridges is the O-rings drying out and binding up. When you get it back in, rotate it, get it in gently. Okay. We also need to lube up the gaskets and seals on here and the front O-ring. We're going to take grease on our finger and go ahead and lube it up in here just a little bit. And we're going to take our cartridge. Now you want to be sure you're hot and you're cold on here. In a normal situation, hot comes in on the left, cold comes in on the right, represented by the hot and the cold on left and right of this cartridge. Now, if you have two cartridges or two shower valves back to back, one of them may be swapped. So if hot is coming in on the right, then you'll need to actually flip it over. All right. So we're going to shove it in. And there's very little built up in this valve, so it slipped in super easy with by hand. Now the off position, as long as hot is on the left and cold is on the right, and you haven't flipped this cartridge, the flat spot on the top. Okay, there's also a stepped side. As you can see here, it has a small step. Okay, that is going to be on position. Okay, so you want to flip it down to the bottom and have the flat directly up. All right, let's get all of our trash and our greasy gloves, and we'll strip those off. And we're going to take our clip and we're going to slide that back in. Now, if you have any trouble getting this clip in, what you'll need to do is rotate your cartridge a little bit to line it up. These are very sensitive to that. You can see I have it just a little bit off. There's more gap here than there is here. So we're going to, once again, we're going to get our tool and we're going to line that cartridge up dead in the center. And that's going to allow this clip, that's going to allow our clip to drop straight down in with no problem. And this one's going to be a bit of a pain. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go turn on the water and we will verify that we have hot water at full rotation. If this is off, 180 will be hot and cold mix. Another 90 degrees will be full hot. So let's verify that. If you happen to have full cold here and hot over here at 90 degrees rotation from off, now you'll have to flip the cartridge over because that means you have hot coming in on the cold side. All right, let's turn our water back on. He wasn't sure which valve, so we just turned them both off. And we now have water pressure. All right, water is back on. And we're looking good here. Let's go ahead and verify our hot and cold position. So we're going to take it from off position and we'll rotate it to the cold, 90 degrees. And we'll go another 180 from there, full hot, which is right there. We got the flat part on this side for full hot. Got a little discoloration coming through. And that is hot water, so we are good. Now, like I said before, if you happen to rotate this and you go 90 degrees and you have hot there, you need to turn your water off, pull your cartridge out, rotate it 180 and put it back in. Okay? So, we're all set. We need to go ahead and put our stop tube back on. I'm going to do this as a unit. But you can pull the stop tube out and put it on first. I'm going to do it all together. And we need our Phillips screwdriver once again. Now the easiest way to do this is to hold it onto your Phillips screwdriver. I'm going to hold it straight like this, which helps you line it up. And shove it straight in. And there we are. And we're just going to snug these up. Nothing too crazy. Snug them both up evenly. That's plenty. Now, we need to grab our temperature limit stop kit. Now, the position, if you're not wanting to adjust your temperature down, would be to line both of these up directly. So line both of those up directly like this. Now if you want to limit temperature, you would actually offset it so the valve doesn't go the full rotation. So as long as you rotate these and line them up, you will have full hot temperature delivery. Stick them in, and we're going to take our handle adapter. Be sure that when this cartridge is off, you put the limit portion of this up on the top left, okay? Now if you bring it down here, you're going to have a problem. So in the off position, this goes up here on the top left. If yours is the black plastic piece, it's the same thing. All right, guys, quick jump to one with the plastic handle adapter. Same premise. Just get it up there on that top left side, and then Phillips screw goes in just like the one we're working on. Now we're going to tighten this up, and this is one that we want to torque down nice and tight because these loosen up and cause the handle to get loose. Nice and tight. Now we have our handle to put back on. Once again, if yours had the bolt, then just slip it on here and get the bolt and get it up in here after you put the handle on. This one is the older style with the set screw. And this is going to be 7/64. The easiest way to do this is stick your handle on there. Stick your handle on there and then take your screw, get your Allen wrench in it like this, and just hold it on. And you're going to hold it on like this and feed it up under there. And just run it up till it's tight. And then we'll take it on the short end and we'll give it 3 extra tightens to compress into that plastic a little bit. Make sure it doesn't loosen. So we're just going to slide it on there all the way and run the set screw in all the way until it stops, and just snug it. There we go. Now we'll take the short end and just snug it up. Make sure you get it in all the way. You don't want to strip these out. That's plenty tight. Now if it was a plastic one, I usually go 3 rotations because it tightens against the plastic, but this is steel, so it tightens up really fast. Let's go ahead and try this once again. And that's what we want, full flow in the hot position. And now this handle turns like butter. You can use your pinky. All right, so at this point, if you're worried about the seal not sealing against the wall, you would take a little bit of caulking and caulk the top of this back. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, I hope that helped. Thank you so much.